Someone once said that people are only relatable when they are on the way to the top. But as soon as they get to the top, their audience stop cheering for them, and sometimes they even want to bring them down. This is the same for the entertainment industry. Whilst the industry has long been a stage for the classic underdog story, but what happens when the underdog finally wins? Let's take Cardi B for example. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. Now let's get back to the video.
It's a sometime thing. Like, you know, it makes me happy. It makes me happy that I'm able to afford what I want. And it makes me happy that I get to treat my family. But I feel like the way that I have money kind of took away a lot of my happiness. What's poppin'? My name is Cardi B. You might know me as that annoying dancer on social media that be talking hella crazy with the long nails and the big old titties.
Ever since my Instagram got deleted, I see the true value of life. Love, family, and friends. Psych! Oh yeah! Whoever got my Instagram deleted, my if you wanted to, these expensive, these is red bottoms, these is bloody shoes. If this I can get them both. I don't want to do it on the street. That means I don't fuck with you. I'm a boss to a record, bitch. I make bloody moves. Now she said she in the club just to party. I'm there, I get paid a fee. I be in and out them drink so much, I know they tired of me. Honestly, don't give a fuck about who ain't proud of me.
Cardi B's journey from an adult dancer to a social media sensation to a love and hip-hop star and now to a global superstar serves as our primary case study. With Cardi's early content, it was so raw and authentic that it deeply resonated with everybody. Cardi would come on Instagram and talk about paying rent. She would talk about her teeth. She would talk about cosmetic procedures. She would just talk about unfiltered commentary about, different daily struggles. However, after Bodak Yellow, hit in 2017 and 2018, and her net worth grew into millions, people's sentiment about Cardi started shifting. All of a sudden, she's too much. All of a sudden, all she talks about is money. All of a sudden, there were so many things about her. Cardi is this, Cardi is that. And Cardi herself even once said, everybody roots for Cinderella until Cinderella gets the glass shoe. Now, I even had to sit down one day and think about it. I'm like, if Cinderella, she married the prince and then she went on to live with the prince. If it was somewhere in, let's say in Africa where I come from, people will always remind her, like, she can even say hello to somebody on her way going somewhere and they'll be like, this Cinderella, she's now acting up. Wasn't she the one that was sitting somewhere, she was friends with mice and all of these things? Like, it feels like people will root for you, but when you get there, then they stop rooting for you. So why is that? That's what I want to discuss in this video. But let me also talk about something else before I even get to the reason why. We've seen the same thing with City Girls. When they came in, they were people's faves, especially when JT was in jail and Young Miami was holding it down. It was all free JT, and all of that. And then all of a sudden, it was like, we don't even like the City Girls anymore. JT is rude, Young Miami is that, and all of that. And recently, I saw the similar thing happen with Doechii. I even made a video about Doechii's, launch and everything. Then all of a sudden, I went onto Twitter, and then they were like, oh, Doechii seems like she's been forced on us. And I was looking like, you mean her label is doing their job by marketing her? How does that feel like being forced? I'm guessing people feel like, this is not the same Doechii that was on TikTok or on YouTube, the same one that was talking to us every day. It seems like she has changed. But why does this happen? What are the psychological reasons behind this? Number one reason why people stop being relatable when they get to the top in psychology is something called loss of parasocial reciprocity. That's a lot. So when artists are on the come up, fans feel like their support directly contributed to the artist's success. So they create this sense of shared investment in the journey. Once the massive success is achieved, it feels like, you're not with us anymore. It feels like there's this distance that has grown between who you were and who I am right now, or who you are right now and who I am as your audience. You don't feel like I can touch you. So when Cardi was on Instagram, speaking to people when she was on the come up, it felt like, we can see Cardi. We saw her, house, her flat where she lived. It felt like, this is something I can relate with. I can even comment, she will reply and all of that. But then she gained massive success, and then she had all of these followers and everything. So it felt like, I've lost that parasocial relationship that I once had with this woman. Another psychological reason is scarcity-driven social identity. So what that means is that early supporters often build part of their identity around discovering and championing emerging talent. So when these people now become successful, it's like it threatens this exclusivity. It leads to something that psychologists call social identity threat. So fans start to withdraw support because they feel like, what? I was one of the early people. Now everybody else knows about this thing that was very scarce. That was something that I held into. Now everybody else knows about them. Another thing is also called achievement gap cognitive dissonance. So while struggling artists, when they are struggling, they represent this aspirational but achievable success. But as soon as they get to the mega success, it creates too much of a gap between the fan and the artist. So the fan starts feeling like there's too much of a gap between me and this person. So that often results to, decreased identification. You're like, I can't relate with this person, and increased criticism because you're like, because I can't relate to this person and their way of life is now not similar to my way of life, I'm going to criticize every single thing that they do. It doesn't mean like they don't still love this person. It's just weird. It's just a weird kind of thing because they can still stay fans, but they will start dragging this person. I've seen it recently with the Babs as well. They love Nicki still, but sometimes when Nicki does something, they're like, oh, there's too much AI. She's not taking pictures. She's not doing that. People asked her to go on a break. And then when she finally went on a break, people were like, why is she on a break? It's like, which one do you actually want? So I said all of that to say that this relatability that we task our favorite entertainers to have reveals a very complex truth about human nature and about ourselves. So we champion those who represent our aspirations, but our support often comes with an unspoken condition. We want you to be successful, but also at the same time, we want you to stay within the bounds of relatable success. So the very achievements we're encouraging our favorites to reach can also be the same achievements that would drive a wedge between us and drives us apart. So for artists, it creates something that's like an impossible choice. You're going to maintain artificial relatability at the cost of growth, or you're going to embrace success and accept the inevitable backlash. So the solution might not lie in trying to preserve relatability because it might not even work. What do you guys think? Let's talk about it in the comments. Once again, thank you for watching, and thank you all to the commenters and the subscribers.